Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Nap Time.
There we are. And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute. And Mr. Magazine couldn't make it today, but Nap Time was nice enough to offer to serve as a guest host today. And with Mr. Magazine not here, I pulled out the good stuff and I had some bourbon cream. There we go. Did you imbibe it all Nap Time or no?
No, I don't.
Okay, well then, nothing wrong with that. We completely respect that. And welcome in, Nanette, and thank you for being a member. AJ3, welcome in. Dave's Odds and Ends, Evening Gents and MDP Peeps. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. There you go. I think there's some word that they use nowadays that put all three of them together, and I forget what it is now. You wonder what Mr. Magazine got you for Christmas. Wonder what he got me for Christmas. There we go. And everybody's late today. I'll tell you, people better things to do. Hard to believe. And welcome in fun-loving resellers. So it's going to be probably a pretty short show today. Mr. Magazine wasn't able to make it last week. I believe a situation is taken care of, and it'll probably be the Ramblin' Story probably next week, I would think. And Diane, welcome in. Great to see you in. And so we're going to get started as we always do, saying hi to Dawn and berating her for being late. Got distracted, Dawn. How dare you? And thank you for being a member, of course. Oh, here she is. All righty. So we're going to start out with sales, and we'll let our guest start it out for us. How are your sales, Nap Time?
Well, when you say, everybody talks about the glorious fourth quarter, I'm like, is it fourth quarter?
Well, John Doe has sold 7 items so far today. Wow, he's got me beat. How many items do you have up? Do you have listed that time?
I just did break 4,000 the other day, and so I'm down to 39.90 something. I think I've got, forget if I've got 8 or 9 here total for the week. So
sales, okay.
Yeah.
And welcome in, Adrian. Thank you for being a member. Wow. What do you primarily sell, if I can ask?
Yeah, I've got 8 for the week.
8, okay.
I was mostly role-playing games,
okay.
Collectible card games, war game miniatures, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And things got where I couldn't financially keep buying from the sources I was.
Oh, okay.
I was buying their liquidation lists.
Okay. Yep.
And so when that happened, now I'm buying coffee mugs and vintage and glassware and whatever I can find.
Well, the advantage of that, the cost of goods is a lot lower. When you go to the church sale and you can buy, and then they go, you like the coffee mugs? Take them all for $1 at the end of the sale. They want them all gone.
Yeah, I was getting coffee mugs 8 for $1 there for quite a few years, and it's like, geez, you make me buy them. Even if they're only $5 coffee mugs and you pay 12.5 cents a piece, you're kind of making me buy them.
Yep. Days and odds and ends. Sales were decent previous 2 weekends, but haven't sold one thing since Friday. Ouch. Not going to worry about it. It happens from time to time. Oof. Mr. Magazine said his sales have not been good this week. I did see him this morning and talked with him. He said his sales have not been particularly good this week. And my sales are okay. They weren't very good yesterday. They're okay today, but it's only because I sold a couple of little bit better items. As far as volume of things that I've sold today, I think I sold 5 items total with 26,000 listed. So that's not a real good sell-through rate. It'll take me 100 days to sell through at that rate or whatever it works out to. Oh, there you go, John Doe. Somebody collects RPG board games. You two can get in touch after the show and work on each other's collections. Awesome. Promoted, I did 24 out of 58, so it's about 40%. Now, do you do promoted?
Yeah, I do. I promote it 2.2%.
2.2, okay. So you beat the clowns like me that promote it too. There you go. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Yeah. I wondered, what is your rate of return for every dollar you spend?
I don't actually even track that. I just know that it's about 40% of, anywhere between 40 to 50% of my items do sell via promoted. I do know that.
I wondered because under the new advertising dashboard, it actually tells you your performance.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I
So,
haven't.
yeah, if you look at campaign performance, mine says I get $45 for every dollar I spend in ads.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I'm going to write that down
So,
to check that out. Okay, at that rate, campaign performance.
and let's see, I've got a sales conversion rate of just over 2%.
Okay. So yeah, wow. Don has 5 sales today. Wow. Don is kicking butt. Up, flipping through, very few sales this week. So yeah, everybody's every which way. Who's been naughty and who's been nice? Hey, don't you want to know, Eric? Don't you want to know? There we are. Don just put Eric in his place there. Offers report. I had 138 old items I can make offers on, 309 total items I can make offers to watchers this last week. The prior week was 274. 309 was actually the second highest I've ever had. So people are definitely coming to the items and finding the items. It's just a question of whether they're converting or not. Right. Spoiler alert, they're not. 160 last year, 169 2 years ago. But the other crazy thing is over on the other venues, I sold nothing on million.dollar.peddlers over on eBay. I sold nothing on Vivs-Views, 2 items on Etsy. Etsy is one of those sites. It basically, it's like Rochester at 10 o'clock. It rolls up the sidewalks. Once the Christmas season is over, nobody is buying on Etsy for about 2 weeks. It's insane. Do very, very well leading into Christmas. Then the spigot gets turned off over there. So it's kind of crazy over there. 2 items on papergoy.com and 1 item on Biblio. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had given up on Etsy because I'd list 100 items over there and maybe have 1 sell a month.
And they're charging you the $20 then, the 20 cents because they charge you up front and everything like that. Yep.
So you're $20 in for 4 months and
you sell 1 item a month. You might make $2 overall or something. Yep.
Well, I usually tried to put a bit more expensive things over there, but that's kind of a catch-22 because they don't want to promote anything over $35 without free shipping.
Oh, right. Yep. They're pushing a free shipping. Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Eric resembles that remark. There we are.
Double check my power here.
How about buys? Anybody buying? I did make a purchase, which some of the people over behind the paywall know. I went to visit a guy that had some comic books. I paid $80, bought the comics off him, kept a couple of them, and flipped them to Mr. Magazine for $100. So I made $20 for basically being in the right place at the right time. Not going to get rich doing that, but the key is I did not clog up the house, and that's kind of important. That being said, I just got a message on my phone. Somebody called me Monday, and they do house clean outs, and they've got a bunch of books. And then I texted the gentleman today and said, hey, I did get your message. It just showed up. And he goes, I'm free today. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to go Christmas Day going and buying a bunch of books. Yeah, that'll be Mrs. Papergoy, I got you a great present. I got a whole bunch of books. Yeah, we'll see how well that goes over. Somebody will be sleeping outside.
Cue the Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. Wow, Don got 2 Etsy sales today. I got 2 in a week. Look at you, Don. You are going real well there. But yeah, otherwise, I'm into listing stuff. I found a box of stuff that I know where it came from. It came from an auction house. And the last time that auction house had a live auction was 2019. So I either bought it in 2019, 2018, 2017. There's some decent stuff in there. And I'm like, well, no need to buy new stuff. I'll just put this stuff, list this stuff over here. But I do have to check out those books for that potential buy for the house clean guy, because he got my name and number from a guy that always gives my name out. So I can't bug out and not show up. I have to at least show up type deal, because I want to keep that pipeline going, because I've done fairly well off of his referrals. So,
right.
Oh, glitch of the week. We have a glitch of the week that's going to double as Ramblin' Story, I think. Whoop. Metal for Gemini. Thanks for being a member. I did a house call for photo albums and slides, and another for shoebox full of postcards, old books, a few JFK magazines. Nice. Look at that. I spent around $70 on books, media, hats, and shirts over the last 2 weeks. Wow, people are still buying stuff. So pretty much the glitch of the week, Papergoy. So I don't know what I did, but for some reason, my printer stopped working today. What would happen is you go to print something and a print preview shows up and then you print off of it. Well, the print preview would not show up. No matter what, it would not show up. Now I could convert it to a PDF. I could, the drop down, I could convert it to PDF. I could fax it. I could do anything with it. But when I went to print, no matter what I tried to print, it would not load in there to print. So I unplugged the printer and I plugged it into this computer here, and the printer works fine. You should have heard me swearing up a storm, trying to get that printer to work. So then I call random neighborhood kid. He's driving home. I'm on the phone with him trying to explain what's going on. And of course, my boomer explanations of what's going on don't translate very well into what he knows. So he's saying, send me a picture of this. Send me a picture. What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know. So he's going to come on by Saturday, and I think we're going to try to uninstall and then reinstall. The nice thing about it, though, was I literally just plugged the printer into this computer, and it found it immediately. The drivers, everything, it found it all immediately. I didn't have to do anything whatsoever. So at least I've got a backup printer, because I was sitting there saying, I kind of need a printer to print. Oh, I guess you don't. I guess you can use the QR codes and all that stuff, I guess. I don't know. But the way I do things, I want the printer. I want to put them on there. And so luckily I've got a backup plan to be able to use a printer. But, that was a nightmare. So that was glitch of the week, and it was completely me on that. We'll dig in my storage units over the summer. I found boxes of stuff I bought in 2013. Sounds like my garage there, Jeff. I think I got stuff 2005 and back. Oh, wow. And then that bought Jeff Norton's grandfather's junk mail. Nice. Glitch. What was that? Sorry.
I had an odd glitch come up on eBay.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I had a fairly expensive piece of artwork, and I kept looking at it, and it had a 15% off sale.
But you didn't do?
Well, I hadn't run a 15% off sale in quite a while, because I ran like a 30% off during Black Friday and still got swamped by everybody doing 50 and 60% off. And so I'm like, well, why is it just this one item? I never could figure out why it was stuck on 15% off. So I finally had to just end the listing and relist it.
It sounds like that glitch that I had on that I told about over the summer on Etsy, where it was in like July. I sold something at my Thanksgiving sale. I go, why is that still have a Thanksgiving discount on it that hasn't been on for 6 months? Stuff happens. Right. Oh, nice, Don. Nice. Oh, geez, Don. It's Christmas. You can send us some food. Don is on fire today. And fuego. No site changes that I saw, though. Hopefully nobody's doing too many site changes this time of year. Now would be the absolute worst time to start moving stuff around on people. But yeah, exactly. That face there tells me all I need to know about your opinion of eBay and when they choose to do things.
Yeah, they love to make work for us. That's for sure.
But they're all new and improved. Oh, cheesecake for dinner for Nanette. Nice. Now, the item of the week this week. Now, this is something rather interesting, I thought. The Mouse Club from Disneyland. Now, this is a newsletter for a fan club. So it's kind of, not going to be a lot of these out there to start with. Well, then when I started looking through it, it's got the autographs in here from, apparently this was for a convention that they had, and it's autographed in here. Now, I don't know these people. I'm going to have to do some research on it. But it's autographed by Claude Coates, who is a Disney animator, Van Arsdale France, who's a CEO of something or other in here, and Lee Blair, who's another artist animator. So always keep a look and go through things like this, because you absolutely never know with those signatures. One of those signatures could be very, very good, I believe this is 1990s, if I remember right. Was when this was from. There's another signature right there, a guy named Ken Anderson. So always look through these things over here. You absolutely never know. You don't want to sell something like this not having realized that it was signed. I don't know if any of those animators are, really good animators, didn't sign a lot, but you absolutely never know. And to have all of them signed in there is really cool. And of course, Disney stuff always will sell. You do much with Disney stuff, nap time?
Not really. I just don't have much luck getting it to sell.
No, not even the glasses or anything, the mugs or anything?
Well, I do pick those up once in a while and some of the plush, but mostly Disney stuff just sits.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's some certain things I just don't buy a lot of. SpongeBob is something else that just sits for me.
Oh, wow. See, I don't really deal in SpongeBob. I might pick up a book here or there. I think I picked up a piece of original art from a comic book back when. I think that did sell for me, but that was from Heritage back when I was buying from Heritage. But that stuff I always like because that's all one of a kind stuff, of course. But
right.
But 9 times out of 10 you don't win it. That's the problem with that.
Yeah, I had some starter decks for the SpongeBob collectible card game.
Okay.
Even though I had them priced at like $4 and they were regular 10 when they were released, I think I sit on those for about 12 years before I finally managed to sell them.
Oh, that's long tail.
Yeah, even when the SpongeBob movie came out, I didn't sell any of them.
Wow.
And it wasn't till like 2 or 3 years later that finally they started selling, and I managed to get rid of the 2 cases I had. But yeah.
Now, how about what's the new Disney role-playing game? Is that any good? Is that taken off?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't bought anything from that kind of distributor since 2016.
Oh, okay. Because I saw Heritage had something with a lot of rares or something or other. They were putting, 21 cards together or something like that for one of their auctions. So it had to be good enough for Heritage to put it up there.
That might be that Lorcana.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I know the name of it, but I forget. They had one previous, and I don't even remember what the name of that one was. And I did sell a little bit of it, but
insulting offer of the week. Mr. Magazine had a Ian Maxim from Jurassic Park on card. He was asking $45.63. He got a $15 offer. And I had a Hans Christian Andersen book with free shipping, and it was from 1926. I was asking $24.22, and I got a $3.50 offer, which media mail is more than $3.50. That would be $4.63 to ship it, and they offered me $3.50. Darn nice of them. Spoiler alert: I declined the offer.
Yeah.
What do you do with when you get insulting offers?
Well, usually I have a bottom set when I list it, because the insulting offers just drive me nuts. But I had a $30 offer this week on a $70 or $100 set of die cast, and I ended up taking it.
Oh, you took the 30?
Yeah, I took the 30.
Wow. Did you make money on it, or you just wanted to move it on out?
It was something that was from my childhood. I dug out of a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little case, like lawn tractor.
Okay.
With a little plastic trailer. And I kind of thought the price was ridiculous when I seen some of the solds, but I listed it for that and kind of shot for the moon, and just happy to move it.
Yeah, right. No, we've all been there. Countdown to Brimfield, I was moderately successful, given that I didn't buy anything this week. Didn't list as much as I'd like, but didn't buy anything, so that's good. Confucius joke of the week. Confucius say, ignorance of the law does not prevent the losing lawyer from collecting his bill. Ignorance of the law does not prevent the losing lawyer from collecting his bill. That was the Confucius joke of the week. Stop by at 20 past the hour for any paper going auction and get another Confucius joke. Sometimes they're actually funny. Oh yeah, that person did get band hammered. Definitely did, Don. Yep, I blocked that one. Definitely. I've been having a lot of people trying to buy from me lately that have a history of leaving negative feedback and trying to get. Oh, see, and I never think to look up anybody's feedback. Do you do that? Do you look up the feedback of the feedback left by potential buyers?
I do once in a while, yeah. Especially if it's an expensive item, because you don't want problem with people that do the fake return and
Right.
So I'll go look and see, well, what feedback did they leave for the other guys they bought from? And
nope, John Doe just made another sale. Nice. Customer issues. Somebody reached out to me on a rodeo program that I had. It's not really an issue, but come on, give me a little more to work with, buddy. He said, hello, I am attempting to locate any programs that mention my grandfather. Can you tell me if the rodeo clowns are mentioned? I got a crazy idea. How about you give me your grandfather's name? Because I pull it out and I say, yes, the rodeo clowns are mentioned. Then he says, oh, is one of them? We can cut a whole step out of this. If you just tell me, look for, Buford McGee, then I'll look for Buford McGee. It's not a big deal. But then I did have a dream book by Lydia Pinkham, Quack Medicine Company. The person was asking me a whole bunch of questions about it, and then they decided not to bid on it. They said, given the size at this time, I will pass. And if I had $1 for every time I heard that back when I was single, but that's a whole nother story. We're a family show here. And then negative feedback. I actually picked up some negative feedback this past week. Item in much, it's a Rudder magazine from February 1943. Item in much poorer condition than indicated, but not worth the fuss of returning. I did respond. I said it was unlikely, and I want you to listen to the condition. Are you ready?
Yep.
Heavier dirt, tears on spine paper, creases on corners, and small tears around. Yet somehow it was much poorer condition than that, which I don't think is possible. I don't believe that's possible. And then
maybe the postman stomped up and down on it a bit before they delivered it.
There may have been some additional bad condition, but come on, when it's listed like that, heavier dirt, tears on spine paper, creases on corners, small tears around, you're not buying a mint condition magazine. You're just not. Unfortunately, people don't read the description or the condition, and unfortunately, that will stick. There's nothing I can do about that. And I like the fuss of returning. You click the return button, you print out the label that I pay for, and you hand it to your postman. You can reuse the packaging that I sent you. Not a lot of fuss. Takes a couple of pieces of tape. But I was lucky enough to get a negative for that, which I just kind of shook my head about. Again, sometimes it happens. Nothing you can do about it. I don't think about looking at their feedback either. Don does it. Nope.
Yeah. I think the negatives on eBay are the thing that aggravate me the most. It's the fact that they stick there for a whole year. Because it seems like I only get a couple a year, and they drop off, and 2 or 3 weeks go by, and it just seems like people can't stand to see a seller with no bad feedback. And first thing you know, I've got a couple clowns that come in and they hit me with the bad feedback.
You think I can, Middle? I'll have to look into that then. I may have screwed it up by responding, though. I know at one point if you responded, then eBay wouldn't remove. I don't know if that's still true or not. I'll have to look into that. But again, that's just absolutely crazy, given that condition that I listed it in. It was very accurately described, no doubt at all about it. This is a piece of off-condition junk that you're buying. You sent me a piece of off-condition junk. You're right. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Absolutely. If they leave
something like that. I usually put like trashed in the title for condition.
Right. Or reader copy. That's what we would say in the magazine thing would be reader copy. You'd be a reader. That kind of deal. They're player haters. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Oh, wow. I'll have to look into that then, definitely on that. Um, some interesting other things. Hey, I want to thank the few people that reached out to me. I did not have my well, actually, I have another glitch, and it was me as well. I did not have my 10 o'clock or my 4 o'clock whatnot auction yesterday. Ever since I flew back from Nashville, there's been something going on right behind this ear, and I think it's a pretty bad sinus thing going on. And I just did not feel good at all yesterday. So I ended up laying down from about 7 o'clock to about 9:45 in the morning. And then I said, I don't feel like doing the whatnot. So I went and I rescheduled the whatnot, except I forgot to hit save. So it was
Oh,
still supposed to be on at 10 o'clock. And a couple of people went to it and then reached out to me and they're like, hey, you never miss shows. What's going on? What's going on? And I said, what's going on? And, oh my gosh, I forgot to hit save. So I rescheduled the postcard show and the ephemera show for middle of January. I've been taking medicine and I'm starting to feel better. But I do really appreciate the people that did check in on me, did a wellness check on me. So thank you very much. You gotta do it to old people like me, and I do appreciate you doing it. It does actually mean a lot to me. So thank you for that. But yeah, the guy next to me on the plane was coughing a bunch, so I'm thinking that's probably got whatever he ended up having would be my thought, and it just took a little while to work its way into my system completely, but been drinking a lot of water, trying to get plenty of sleep. So, um, Mr. Magazine got a email from Sony. He was selling some PlayStation stuff, a used console and used controller, and a third thing that was also used. And I checked; they were all listed as used. He got a takedown notice from Sony saying you're not authorized to sell these. We've not reached out to eBay yet, but we will. Stop selling these. So he took them down. So I think that's absolutely ridiculous. If you read their email, it was saying there aren't warranties. There aren't. It's like, no, there's not. He said it's used. But he decided he wasn't going to try to fight Sony about that one. So he just took the thing down. You ever had any problem with the Vero?
Yeah. I had a problem with Iowa State University.
Really?
One of their coffee mugs that they actually licensed, they wanted me to take down.
Really?
And then I had trouble. Yeah, and then I had trouble with Jeff Dunning, the ventriloquist. I had a T-shirt from the '80s that had Ahmed on it. Was
Right.
printed on a gimme T-shirt, and they wanted me to take that down.
Wow. That's great. See, that's the thing. And that's the whole thing. You absolutely never know. You absolutely never know. Now, I knock on wood. Yeah. I don't think I've really had any problems but I just basically sell paper stuff. So, you're selling a magazine, things like that. But I know, Auction Professor did have that problem with the Richard Pryor estate coming after him for some movie stills, as I remember. And they were licensed movie stills, right. And he had to take those down. So you absolutely never know.
Yeah. Have you had problem with any manufacturer minimum discounts?
No, nope. I've never had a problem with that either. Nope.
Yeah, I had a problem with that one time, and that was with Cool Minis or Not, I think was the company.
All right. Now, obviously, you do run into the problems over on Amazon trying to list, but that tends to be the high price problems. Because Amazon, right. Well, a lot of things are gated over on Amazon. You're not allowed to sell. So I try to sell, and if I can't sell it, then I'll bring it over to, Etsy or eBay. There were a couple of items today that I was listing, and I go, nope, I don't think I can list these over on Amazon. And I was looking, and one of them, that's the other thing too, though. Sometimes you'll find something or other over on Amazon. Like today, I found a Bee Gees Volume 2 songbook, and that's like $150 over on Amazon. And then I looked, and it's about $80 to $100 on eBay. And I said, you know something? I'm going to sell that on eBay, because sometimes you list something like that on Amazon, and then they say, oh, it's overpriced, and they take it down anyway. So I'd rather get $80 to $100 on eBay, because eBay doesn't care what I charge on it, than $150, and then it gets taken down for a high price, and I forget to relist it, and then it sits dead in a box. So I'd rather get $100 than have to go through all those steps to sell it otherwise. I said, you know something, I'll be happy with $100 for a BG's book.
Right.
I got 2 virals in December after never having them. Ouch. Oh, it's right, Donnie. I think you got them for ads, if I remember right. You certainly detect a pattern. It's okay if they leave negative feedback that seems warranted or constructive. I refuse to play partial refund game because I have free returns. Yep, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. One was a print ad and one was Nani Juice because I didn't realize it was a multi-level marketing product. Oh, okay. Did not know that. It is a family show, Eric. Indeed, it is a family show. Couple of other things there. Oh, this is a great one. Mr. Magazine had an order, 2 orders actually, of adult stuff that he shipped to a buyer in the Middle East about 6 months ago, let's say, about $750 orders.
Wow.
Don't you know they put in a credit card dispute? And
Oh boy.
he ended up losing. So they got about $1,500 worth of stuff. Now the guy put in another order and is trying to claim that it's not him, that it's a very common name, that it's not him, and why is he not getting his order, et cetera, et cetera. And Mr. Magazine says, well, A, you got the same last name. B, you have the same address. May not be the same guy. I don't know. But when you're having somebody shipped to some, the same last name at the same address, and we're not talking to, so I said to Mr. Magazine, I said, you're not talking a $20 order. You're talking a $750 order. And you've been burned twice before. You absolutely cannot send it. Just refund the guy, and that's that. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, you can't. $20 order. All right, we'll take our chances. Not $750. That's some real money. I collect Warhammer books. I'm a geek, and some used going to $100 on Amazon. Wonder why those aren't taken down. It's weird. Now, one way, if you really want to screw other people up on Amazon, when you are listing something there, there's I think it's called the manufacturer's suggested retail price. I actually had a Life magazine that I couldn't sell for $1 on there because somebody filled that in with the true original price of 10 cents. So they filled 10 cents on the cover because that was the original cover price. And then Amazon wouldn't let it be listed for more than like 15 cents because it could only go so much above cover price. It's like, yeah, in 1947, it was 10 cents. Whereas 80 years later, I think we're allowed to charge more than that. So if nobody ever filled in the manufacturer's suggested retail price, then it doesn't necessarily catch it all the time. But you start getting up on those higher priced items. I get too many. And the crazy thing is I actually get things taken down for high price for like $3. I'm saying, really? $3 is a high price? The best one is Mr. Magazine had a Lawrence Welk that we got down to $1, and it still would not go because it was too high priced for a Lawrence Welk album for $1. So I just had fun with that one. I kept trying to relist it at a lower and a lower and a lower price. And finally I got down to $1. And I said, nah, when am I going to go? A penny? A lady in a estate sale was asking if they had any penthouse, and we laughed and said, we know a guy. There you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. There you go, Eric. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I did that I would suggest out there, and I did mention this over here behind the paywall, if you have any assets at all, in other words, if you own your house, you might want to look into an umbrella policy. They are incredibly cheap. I got a $2 million umbrella policy, costs $400. And that is absolute peace of mind. God forbid something or other happens and I have a car accident, something like that, especially living in New York State with the way the lawyers are. I got $2 million additional coverage and it cost me $400. So again, if you have a house, if you drive, if you live in a litigious state, I'm going to say California, New York, Massachusetts, any of those kind of states, look into it for $400 for peace of mind. I think that's absolutely wonderful. Now, where do you live, Naptime? I never did ask you that.
I'm in Iowa.
That's probably not a litigious state.
I doubt it.
No, probably not. So you probably don't necessarily have to worry about it. But up here, especially, with the New York City and all that stuff, jury awards can get kind of crazy up this way. As you can imagine.
I couldn't afford it anyway. So
right.
Even at $400 a year, that's
Right, right. Yep, yep. But again, it's just one of those things for just for peace of mind. And I've been talking about doing it for years and years and years, and I finally went and did it. Because again, God forbid something happens, I don't want to lose the house. Basically, is what it comes down to, as far as that
Right.
goes. And with the New York City, you never know. You never know.
And the $400 insurance policy might be cheaper than going the LLC route as well, because I
Yeah,
don't know what the corporate tax rate is in New York.
yeah, might be as well. But then you got to then as it is now as a DBA, I can commingle my funds. I don't have to have a separate. I mean, I do have a separate business account, but I don't have to. So if all of a sudden I wanted to, pay for something or other out of the business account, I'm allowed to do it. But you get an LLC, you got to transfer and all kinds of fun stuff going on with that stuff as well.
Right.
So now you were talking to me a little bit before the show. Oh, real quick, one last thing over here. I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago I was talking about the 10 Commandments, that big stone, I forget, 150 pound, I think it was, 10 Commandments that were going up for auction.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were expecting to go for $2 million. It sold for $5 million. But now all of a sudden, some experts are coming out and saying that they're questioning whether it's legitimate or not. They probably were the underbidder.
Very possible, yes.
But yep, kind of crazy on that over there. And I do want to thank Mr. Magazine. I believe he'll probably be back next week. I'm not 100% sure, but he actually had some people by for Christmas brunch this morning, and I was able to finagle an invite, and I went over there, and some absolutely delightful food over there, and so do definitely want to thank him for that as well. Now you were mentioning to me a little bit before about talk to me a little bit about RPGs and all that kind of thing. You're still dealing in them. You said you just got the older stuff at this point, but you keep your eyes open for them when you're out and about.
Yeah, you don't find a whole lot of that stuff here in Iowa, because we were, back in the day, we were kind of in the midst of that satanic panic.
Oh, right. Yep.
And Iowa is a horrible state to try to run like a comic store or a game store.
Really?
Oh yeah, we've got 99 counties, and we might have 40, comic book game stores in the state.
Okay.
Because hobby stores are just tremendously hard to do anything with here.
Probably
Now,
by the colleges, right?
Yeah, it has to be a college town or a bigger town to have any success at all.
Wow.
And I know when I went to the retailers convention in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we were traveling through Indiana, I noticed that just about every town in Indiana had some form of a shop.
Really?
Whether it was RC cars or models,
right,
or a comic shop, or just sports cards, and you might have 3 in one town, and then you got a little town 10 miles away, and it's got the other shop that the other town doesn't have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
and so it's
in Iowa just in general.
What?
What's it like sourcing in Iowa just in general?
Oh, it's pitiful.
Don't mince words.
Yeah, it's really tough, because even at the thrift stores, the stuff that they don't end up sending to, like Goodwill, the auction site or whatever, it's still really hit or miss. I've walked into Goodwill and walked back out and not bought anything.
Right. And you don't, I mean, I've done that many times, but that's because the books are usually checked. So from a paper side of things, you regularly do that. But if I were doing other things as well, I'm certain that I would always find something up here at most of the stores.
Right.
Now, how about estate sales and things? Are those there or no?
We don't really have estate sales here. They have auctions for estates.
Okay.
But as far as a garage sale type estate sale, we don't have anybody that does those here.
Okay. And we don't have any auctions up here to speak of. There's no auction companies up here. There used to be, but now everything's estate sales now.
Right. Most of the auction companies here, especially since COVID, they're all on high bid.
Yep. Yep. And yep. The only advantage that you have is if you can pick it up, because I've seen what some of the auction houses charge to ship stuff, and that adds quite a bit of cost to other people. So you do have that advantage. And I think the other advantage you potentially have, if it's not too far from you, is most of them do have the ability to inspect stuff. They'll have like a 1 day where you can inspect stuff in person.
Right.
And then,
right, a viewing day.
Yep. So if they've got a lot of 50 books, yeah, they do have the pictures up, and you can take a look through and go, oh, this one's signed and this one's falling apart and this one's this. Okay, I'm not going to bid, or I am going to bid. I think probably that more than anything else might help you not to buy stuff, because I'm bidding on it from New York State based off of the pictures. You actually saw it and go, these are not in nice shape whatsoever. And then I get it and I'm disappointed, but you knew not to bid. I think that might be where. John Doe says that Gloomhaven is his most expensive RPG. I don't know what Gloomhaven is. I'm sure you've heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is for sure. I think it's if it's just a straight horror, or if it's a horror fantasy.
Okay. Oh, Nanette said she had trouble finding ephemera to buy in Iowa. I can imagine. Now, do you ever think about doing the? Somebody was telling me. I'm trying to think who it was. Somebody I was talking with said one of the people they deal with is actually one of the old door knockers that would actually go around and knock on old farmhouses and just ask if they had stuff in the house, in the attic, and all that kind of stuff, and do quite well buying stuff that way. So I don't know if you've ever thought of doing that or not.
I had, but it's the problem of having cash on hand.
Oh, right. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, obviously.
You can only buy as much as you've got cash available. And
yeah, no, you're absolutely right on that. Yeah, see, I've never thought of doing that up here, but I would guess in some of the more rural areas that might be a better way to do it. Here I go into the city, I probably get shot. Let's see.
In the big city, the problem would be, where would you start?
No, that's true. And the other thing too is so many of the houses have flipped so many times up in the city. A lot of different owners versus you get into the country. If it's an old farmhouse and the same family's owned it for 150 years, you're going to get a nice accumulation there. Whereas up over here, less so.
Like with New York City and the high rises, about the only thing you could do would be leave your card with the doorman and hope somebody called.
Yeah, slip him a little bit of money to make sure that he talks to the people as well. Yep, absolutely. Des Moines Brass Armadillo had one postcard dealer. Well, there you go. There's one postcard dealer up there. Tough crowd. There you are, Eric. Estate sales are non-existent. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Oh, when Flip and Roof did find RPPCs, they were as low as $1 a piece. So apparently, if you can find the stuff, you can pay right on it. I guess it is there, Eric. It's a pretty large cup right there. Whatnot is an option for sourcing, but I notice it's getting harder to find deals in many categories. Now, I know you're on Whatnot. Do you buy much on there or not really, nap time?
No. I think you're the only one I've ever bought from.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I do appreciate that.
I just don't have the money to spend to buy more product is the problem.
Right. Yep. And my problem is I've got too much product and I don't want to buy anything more.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When I decided that I was going to liquidate everything I had, suddenly I ended up with like another 5,000 items to list.
Yeah, so you don't need to buy anything either anytime soon. Definitely.
No.
Oh, welcome in, Lewis. Good to have you aboard. All righty. I think we're going to cut it short tonight. Just a fun show, and I definitely do thank Nap Time. I did do the rambling story a little earlier. You can rewatch the beginning of the show there. It was also the glitch with the printer when I was screaming quite a bit about that. Hopefully I have a good update on that next week. Hopefully Random Neighborhood Kid is able to get that working for me. Because the other problem is, and I'll let you in a little bit of a secret here, the printer is actually on the floor right there. Right next to me is where Mr. Magazine sits. The cord for the printer is plugged in at its maximum. Mr. Magazine will next week basically have his knees up his nose, which, although funny, he may not find it very, very good. So hopefully Random Neighborhood Kid is able to get that. And if you see me sitting in that seat next week, you know that the printer's on the floor and my knees are up my nose for that particular reason as well. Because he's kind of crunched in to start with. And then if he can't move the chair back at all, he will not be happy. And I got to say, I can't really blame him too much on that. Anything you wanted to promote, Nap Time?
Yeah, besides the eBay store, Naptime's Role Playing Den, I've got a Wargame Miniatures company, LoneGunmanGames.com.
Now, how do you spell that?
It's
Lone
Gunman.
Oh, Gunman. Okay.
Yeah.
Gunman.
And games, multiple game.
Okay. .com. Okay. I didn't hear the Gunman. I don't know what I heard, Dunman or something. LoneGunmanGames.com. Very good. And what do you sell over there?
I've got 15 and 28 millimeter miniatures.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, John Doe's been very lucky in his rural area. Several cheap thrifts, great library book sales, and rich vacationers who like to have yard sales. Nice, nice. I will say this, from having had the channel for a while and talking to other people out there, when I do the occasional behind the paywall for the estate sales. Oops, looks like we lost Nap Time there. When I do that there, we have an incredible amount of estate sales up here compared to other areas. It is absolutely crazy. Oh, and I did want to thank Greg from Flower City as well for being on last week. Definitely got a lot of really, really good feedback for that as well. Looks like Nap Time must have unplugged something or other there. Doo-doo. Exactly. Well, apparently I offended him and he left. I don't know. Hit the like button, everybody, if you could. The magazine or the comic books that I bought that I flipped to Mr. Magazine, he will be having them all up in a Whatnot auction in early January, all Bronze Age, including a Black Panther #1 and the first Legion of Monsters, just to let you know. Marvel Preview, first Legion of Monsters. So do check that out as well, Mr. MISTER Magazine. And I am intending on having my 4 o'clock auction tomorrow over on Whatnot. I definitely do want to thank everybody for coming on out tonight. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. Thank you for coming on out today. Definitely do appreciate that. And next week, I believe Mr. Magazine will be able to make it. And definitely do want to thank Nap Time for coming on in. It works a lot better having somebody just to talk with and somebody to bounce it off. I don't know how these people that do their own solo shows, I don't know how they do it. That's very, very difficult. So definitely do thank him for coming through in a pinch for me. Do appreciate each and every one of you. There you they did, Eric. They all walked away from you. Boom. All right, everybody, do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next week.